Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Soul Land 2 Peerless Tang Men based on novel. So let's start. As she spoke, the bluish gold light from her body became stronger, and she lifted her right hand towards Huo Yuhao again. Hey, it's really a misunderstanding. Huo Yuhao was also confused. From the details, this young lady was indeed not Wang Donga. However, they looked too alike. Wang Qiu'er and Wang Donga had been lookalikes, because of Wang Qiu'er's transformation ability, as the auspicious emperor beast. However, what was with this young lady? From her long, wavy hair, it wouldn't be wrong to say that she looked like Wang Qiu'er. Remember, my name is Tang Wutong, the young lady shouted and pointed her toes to the ground. Behind her, a pair of dragon wings opened up, and she was lifted into the air. Her first soul ring shone, and her wings fluttered. The arcs that she created as her wings moved instantly shone with a strong, golden glow. The golden glow was like water, and her sharp aura caused a tearing sound in the air. As she fluttered her wings, she charged towards Huo Yuhao. Words were of no use right now. He had to deal with her attack first. He pointed his toes to the ground and quickly retreated. At the same time, his body shone with deep blue light, and the little snow lady separated from his body. The little snow lady's figure twisted slightly in the air and a streak of deep blue light flashed. It was Huo Yuhao's unparalleled chill, Empress Sword. The little snow lady's appearance instantly caused the surrounding temperature to drop significantly. Ever since Huo Yuhao had fused with the star Anis mysterious ice grass, his ultimate ice had improved and was now even closer to absolute zero. Tang Wutong was affected by the extreme chill in the air, and her movements were delayed slightly. However, the bluish gold light from her body also instantly became stronger. She swept out her dragon wings to resist Huo Yuhao's unparalleled chill. A crisp note echoed out, and Tang Wutong descended from the sky. A strong chilling wave quickly spread towards her body through her wings. The strength of ultimate ice was displayed at this moment. However, Tang Wutong was also quite impressive. As she shouted, a layer of strong golden sparks rose from her body, and the ultimate ice from Huo Yuhao's unparalleled chill wasn't able to continue seeping into her. After he forced Tang Wutong back with his sword, Huo Yuhao also quickly retreated. He wasn't just an assault-type soul master, but also a control-type soul master. Widening his gap with his opponent was a better way for him to fight. However, it was very difficult for him to fight right now. He couldn't bring himself to lay his hands on Tang Wutong, as she looked too much like Wang Donga. A distorted glow rippled around his body. He quickly unleashed his spiritual interference, which caused everything around him to turn unclear. A strong chill continued to surge forth in the area. The little snow lady drifted behind Huo Yuhao, and he unleashed his snowy dance of ultimate ice. Large patches of snowflakes surrounded Huo Yuhao's body and quickly engulfed both him and Tang Wutong with the help of his spiritual interference. Under Huo Yuhao's deliberate control, his snowy dance of ultimate ice didn't cover a huge region. However, the temperature in this region instantly dropped to negative 100 degrees Celsius, even though Huo Yuhao was deliberately controlling the temperature. Otherwise, it would have been even lower. Tang Wutong suddenly felt as if she were trapped in this domain. However, she didn't panic, and her eyes shone brightly. On her forehead, the golden trident rune shone silently once again, adding a layer of golden light to her eyes. Tang Wutong let out a sonorous dragon roar. As she stood in place, a suit of bluish gold armor silently surfaced on her body. This armor was made of blue diamond-shaped dragon scales and outlined her slender figure perfectly. The pauldrons were especially long, poking out from both sides of her shoulders. Her dragon wings expanded and looked even more bluish gold. A huge, golden V-shaped beam of light flashed. Along the part of the armor covering her belly, there were even butterfly patterns spreading out. Her uniform adopted the shape of waves, just like the edges of her dragon wings. Glaring, bluish gold light surged and resisted the chill coming from Huo Yuhao's snowy dance of ultimate ice. This was her fourth soul skill, Dragon God's Possession. Tang Wutong's dragon wings suddenly stuck close together and rose up high behind her. Bluish gold light shone very brightly on her as she unleashed her dragon god's possession. All traces of her suddenly disappeared. Following this, a large bluish gold blade more than 10 meters long and several meters wide suddenly appeared and slashed towards Huo Yuhao's head. His spiritual interference didn't have any effect on her. This was her third soul skill, Radiant Dragon God's Slash. As it was strengthened by her dragon god's possession, her Radiant Dragon God's Slash suddenly became extremely powerful. Before the snowflakes in Huo Yuhao's snowy dance of ultimate ice touched the sharp blade of light, they were already crushed into powder and scattered in the air. Huo Yuhao was also revealed in his domain, facing the blade directly. However, something happened that left Tang Wutong stunned. Huo Yuhao didn't dodge as he faced her attack. Furthermore, he actually shut his eyes and slowly punched his right fist out against her sharp blade. For some reason, Tang Wutong couldn't bear to harm Huo Yuhao when he punched his fist out. She even experienced a very weird feeling, and subconsciously lessened the might of her attack. If Huo Yuhao was unable to resist her attack, she could still retract it in time. After all, there wasn't any deep enmity between the two of them. Although she was cross that Huo Yuhao had hugged her, she didn't have the intention of killing him. When Huo Yuhao's right fist clashed against her Radiant Dragon God's Slash, the huge blade stopped in mid-air. Following that, the diamond ice crystals formed from Huo Yuhao's Ice Empress pincer were rapidly crushed, revealing his naked right hand. However, layers of golden light also spread from Huo Yuhao's right fist towards Tang Wutong's Radiant Dragon God's Slash, just as the two of them clashed against each other. An indescribable and inexplicable feeling was in the air. It was a combination of sorrow and boundless remembrance. While Huo Yuhao's fist had stopped, his emotions continued to surge. It was his fist of remembrance, a fist that contained a surging feeling of remembrance. Tang Wutong's light projection instantly retracted, and she did a reverse somersault in mid-air before landing on the ground. When her feet touched the ground, she staggered 2 steps back before she managed to stabilize herself. She could only feel that there were countless images flashing across her mind, and she was suddenly filled with immense sadness. Huo Yuhao didn't stagger back, but fresh blood dripped from his right fist. Before it landed on the ground, it turned into beads of blood-red ice under the effect of his ultimate ice. As these beads of ice landed on the ground, they were crushed into red powder and scattered everywhere. When he opened his eyes again, his eyes were filled with boundless remembrance and gentle feelings. It was like the wound on his right fist didn't belong to him. "Donga, it's you. You are my Donga," Huo Yuhao muttered to himself. The words of Niu Tian, the Clear Sky sect leader, echoed in his mind right now. Donga is fine. She has been treated by her father. However, she's no longer Donga. She has lost a portion of her memory. While Tang Wutong was unable to recognize him now, there were signs of Donga in her abilities. When she unleashed her dragon god's possession, the V-shaped radiant butterfly goddess glow that appeared on her dragon wings was continuously telling Huo Yuhao things. She's Donga. She's Donga, but she's changed her name and forgotten who I am. Tang Wutong jerked a little, and she took a while to recover from the intent of Huo Yuhao's fist of remembrance. When she looked at him again, there was a horrified look in her eyes. What did you do to me?" Huo Yuhao shook his head gently. "I didn't do anything to you. You only sensed the remembrance in me." Tang Wutong had a wary look in her eyes as she snorted, "I don't know what you're talking about. Don't let me see you again." After she said that, her dragon wings opened up again, and she rose into the air before flying towards Sea God's Lake. Huo Yuhao's expression turned gentler as he watched her back. "Donga, have you really forgotten me? Even if you have, so what? I'm willing to pursue you again, and bring you close to me again through my love for you. You'll definitely see me in the future, and you'll keep seeing me. No matter what, I won't let you leave my side again. I'll use my life and everything to protect you. Donga, whether you're Wang Donga or Tang Wutong, you'll have to be my wife." Tears once again flowed from his eyes. However, they were blissful tears now. Wang Donga had gone into a deep sleep, Wang Chua sacrificed herself, and Shrek was attacked by a beast tide. This series of heavy blows had polished his heart. He had concealed his internal weakness, and tried to face everything resiliently. However, he was still human. When he saw his younger brother die lawfully and sensed the warmth of kinship, his cold and resilient heart melted a bit. And right now, everything in the world seemed to be filled with life and everything turned beautiful as he saw Tang Wutong, who had to be Wang Donga. "How is she? Did you manage to tell anything?" a benevolent voice asked. Huo Yuhao turned around and saw Elder Xian. Elder Xian walked towards him slowly and chortled, "She doesn't recognize you anymore. However, it's really still her." Huo Yuhao also smiled and quickly rubbed the tears off his face. "Yes. Even if she doesn't admit it, and has forgotten me, she's still my Donga. This is a fact that can't be changed. I'll make her remember me." Elder Xian smiled. "She came to Shrek a week ago to interview for a teaching role. Every one of us was stunned when we saw her, and thought that she was Donga. However, she said that she's not Donga, but Tang Wutong. She doesn't know anyone called Wang Donga. She's very different from Donga in many aspects, including her martial soul. However, I can clearly see Donga's shadow on her. I remember you mentioned that Donga was in a deep sleep. Did you go and find her?" Huo Yuhao nodded, and recounted his encounter with the Clear Sky sect. Elder Xian retracted the smile on his face and furrowed his brow slightly before saying, "If this is the case, she should be Donga. It's just that, did you sense traces of Donga on her? There's also Chioas." "Chioas?" Huo Yuhao shook a little, and quickly recalled the situation, when he had fought Tang Wutong earlier. He recalled her strength, and her martial soul. As the saying goes, the person on the spot is baffled, while the onlooker sees clearly. Elder Xian's words quickly alerted him. If Huo Yuhao had to describe Tang Wutong's martial soul, he would have to say that it was a combination of Wang Chua's golden dragon, and Wang Donga's radiant butterfly goddess. How is that possible? Donga is the young sect leader of the Clear Sky sect, while Chua is the auspicious emperor beast. How is it possible that? Elder Xian had a thoughtful look on his face as he said, "It seems unbelievable, but Wang Chua is the auspicious emperor beast. She controls the power of destiny. Is it possible that her feelings continued to exist with her spirit after she died, and the strength of her spirit managed to fuse with Donga? As a result, Donga woke up and reached her current state. Yuhao, you must understand how magical martial souls are. Even after thousands of years of research, our academy is still unable to solve some riddles. For example, why do humans have martial souls, and under what conditions do martial souls mutate? How are martial souls inherited? Through a person's father or mother? All these seem like simple questions, but no one has the exact answer to them. There is nothing impossible in this world. However, I'm afraid you'll need to find out the answer to Tang Wutong's secrets by yourself." "Oh, thanks. No matter what, I'll find out what happened to her." "Elder Xian," I rushed back, "because I have something important to report to you." Elder Xian immediately turned serious. "Are you talking about the Sun Moon Empire starting the war so abruptly? Were you in the Star Luo Empire?" Huo Yuhao nodded and replied, "Yes, I wasn't just in the Star Luo Empire. I was even at a place not far from the Mingdo mountain range." Elder Xian lifted his hand and stopped him from speaking further. He said, "Let's return to the Sea God's Pavilion first." After they reached the Sea God's Pavilion, Huo Yuhao greeted the golden tree by bowing as usual, before following Elder Xian in. The two of them sat at the conference table normally used for meetings on the first level. Huo Yuhao started to describe everything that he had seen and heard after arranging his thoughts. At the same time, he concealed his relationship with the White Tiger Duke, and didn't talk about how he had saved him. He only described the situation of the war. Elder Xian turned grim as he listened to Huo Yuhao's words. Elder Xian furrowed his brow and said, "They created a diversion, and their target was actually the Heavenly Soul Empire. We haven't received any news from the Heavenly Soul Empire yet. They have the support of the body sect over there. Perhaps it won't be so easy to take them down. Huo Yuhao laughed bitterly. I hope so, too. However, only the Sun Moon Empire's Soul Engineer legions were present when they attacked the Star Luo Empire. The Holy Ghost Church was missing. I was a little skeptical at that time. After I tried to figure things out, I realized that it's likely that the body sect will face the Holy Ghost Church. The Holy Ghost Church has the Dragon Emperor Doluo Long Xiaoyao and many other evil soul masters. If they really fight the body sect, I'm afraid the body sect might be unable to resist them. Furthermore, I don't think the Heavenly Soul Empire is even comparable to the Star Luo Empire in terms of strength. They won't be able to last long if they are really embroiled in a fight. The Sun Moon Empire doesn't have only 3 Class 9 stationary soul cannons. The situation is very dire now. Elder Xian, should our academy? Elder Xian said, wait here. I'll immediately call for a conference. Okay. Elder Xian stood up, and a strong layer of yellow light shone from his body. Suddenly, the entire pavilion rippled with a layer of dim golden light. Outside the Sea God's pavilion, the golden tree shone brightly, and golden halos started to undulate. Formless spiritual undulations and the special aura of the golden tree started to spread out. Figures swiftly and silently entered the Sea God's pavilion. The first to arrive were all the elders who lived in the Sea God's pavilion. Elder Song, Elder Zhuang, and the rest quickly streamed down from the higher levels. Elder Song couldn't help but ask when she came to the first level, Elder Xian, what's going on? Didn't we just have a conference yesterday, and decide to continue observing the war? Why is there another conference today? Before she finished speaking, she saw Huo Yuhao standing up. As she focused on him, she understood that Huo Yuhao must have had brought back some new information. Elder Song, Elder Zhuang, Huo Yuhao took a few steps forward and greeted all the elders respectfully. At this moment, Zhong Lishuan had already rushed over. As she entered the Sea God's pavilion, she also greeted all the elders. Following this, Yang Xiaozhe, Xian Lina, Qian Duoduo and Cai Maya also arrived. Apart from the Tang sect leader Bei Bei, who was given a seat at the table in the Sea God's pavilion, the rest had already arrived. Zhong Lishuan looked much more capable now compared to before. Furthermore, she had forgotten all her past feelings after her experience in the Yin-Yang Love Querying Valley, and appeared to be much more cheerful now. However, she still hadn't found a partner yet. She was too outstanding, such that there were only a few people who dared to pursue her. Before Huo Yuhao left the last time, he had heard that it wouldn't take long before she reached rank 90. She would become the youngest title Doluo in Shrek Academy to date. Eldest senior sister. Huo Yuhao also greeted Zhong Lishuan. She smiled and said, I heard from Bei Bei that you went out to Rome. Do you know? There's a new person in our academy, who looks just like Donga and Chioa. Come to think about it, we're all confused. She insists that she's Tang Wutong. Furthermore, the weird thing is that her martial soul is different from Chioa and Donga. Yuhao, do you know what's going on? Huo Yuhao laughed bitterly as he shook his head. He replied, I have no idea. I'm trying my best to understand what's going on, too. Just as they were speaking, Bei Bei also finally arrived. When the golden tree made a summoning call, an elder would be able to sense it immediately, as long as they were in the area. While Bei Bei was slightly late, it was because he was further away than the rest. Bei Bei was startled to see Huo Yuhao. He quickly greeted the rest of the elders before sitting down beside Yuhao. He softly said, Little Junior, you're here because of Tang Wutong, right? Who told you? We wanted to tell you, but we couldn't find a way of communicating with you. Huo Yuhao laughed bitterly. Eldest senior, I'm really not here for her. However, I've already met her. Let's talk about her after the conference. All right, Bei Bei nodded. Elder Xian coughed and turned everyone's attention to him. Since everyone is here, we'll start. Yuhao, will you recount what you said to me earlier to everyone? Yes. Huo Yuhao began with how he had joined the Star Luo Empire's military. He avoided talking about his purpose for joining, and mainly talked about what had happened after the Sun Moon Empire started the war. Just like Elder Xian, the rest of the elders turned serious after listening to him. Shrek City and Shrek Academy had been developing significantly because of the Spirit Pagoda. If this continued, the Academy would reach new heights very soon, and the influence of the Academy on the continent would grow even stronger. However, the Sun Moon Empire had started a war at this time. Furthermore, they had even ferociously destroyed the Star Luo Empire's northwestern defense line. Right now, they had adopted war strategies, and were likely to be threatening the Heavenly Soul Empire already. Shrek City was now located at the center of the junction between the three empires of the Doluo continent. Once the situation became unfavorable for the Heavenly Soul Empire, Shrek City was likely to be implicated, too. After all, Shrek City was located within the territory of the Heavenly Soul Empire. Elder Xian gestured to Huo Yuhao to take his seat. After that, he looked at the other elders. Everyone, please tell me your opinions. What do you think the Academy should do regarding this situation, so that we can stabilize it? Elder Song said, the situation now is still unclear. The information that Yuhao has brought back should be accurate. However, we don't know to what extent the Heavenly Soul Empire is involved in the war. While the strength of the Heavenly Soul Empire isn't comparable to the Star Luo Empire, they are still one of the three empires of the Doluo continent. They also have a strong foundation and the help of the body sect. Even if the Sun Moon Empire invades them, I reckon that the Heavenly Soul Empire should be able to hang on for some time. Currently, we should maintain the status quo as a means of dealing with all the changes around us. At the same time, we should speed up our own development, and try our best to obtain information from the front line before we decide what to do. After hearing Elder Song's words, many of the elders nodded their heads in approval. Yang Xiaozhe also said, I agree with Elder Song's opinion. After experiencing the beast tide earlier, the Academy has also been greatly affected. Although we've attracted many outstanding talents from the various empires of the continent to join us, because of our Spirit Pagoda, we still need some time to consolidate everything. Given the Academy's current situation, I also feel that we shouldn't rush to get involved in the war. Personally, I feel that we should increase our focus on our Soul Tool department and the Tang sect. In addition, we should make it a priority to equip the Shrek City Defense Army and establish our own Soul Engineering Legion. Yuhao has already described the importance of a Soul Engineer Legion on a battlefield. Shrek Academy doesn't lack Soul Masters, but we lack high-tier Soul Tools. We need to put more effort into this aspect. At the same time, should we also contact the Great Star Do Forest? Xian Lin's eyes widened and she asked, regarding. Tell them that there's an internal conflict between humans, so that they can exploit this opportunity. Yang Xiaozhe furrowed his brow. If this were the past, he would have rebuked Xian Lin. However, he felt very guilty every time he saw her after they resisted the last beast tide. He opened his mouth, but didn't manage to say anything. Elder Xian said, Lina, what's your suggestion then? Xian Lin replied, I agree that we should increase our focus on the Tang sect and developing the Soul Tool department. I also agree that we should monitor the situation at the front line. However, we have to send capable people to do these things. If we wait for the Heavenly Soul and Star Luo empires to pass information to us, it'll be too slow. At the same time, we have to intensify the training of the Shrek City Defense Army. The army is mainly divided into Soul Engineers and normal soldiers. After the Spirit Pagoda was constructed, we now have 3,000 Soul Masters and Soul Engineers in the army. Among them, most are graduates that we've recalled from various places, as well as the original crew of soldiers. There are also a few strong Soul Masters that came from different empires. I believe that we should intensify their training and equip them with Soul Tools so that they'll be prepared to support the front line. Yes. Elder Xian nodded his head and looked at Bei Bei before saying, Bei Bei, how's the production of Soul Tools in the Tang sect? Especially Zhuge divine crossbow cannons and all-terrain forts, as well as more advanced Soul Tools. Bei Bei said, we've been developing very smoothly with the resources of the Academy and other empires. We've managed to deploy soul engineers in the Shrek City Defense Army to help in simple soul tool production. At the same time, we've also increased their knowledge of soul tools and taught them how to better use soul tools, among other things. Elder Xian said, if we enter the war now, how many packages of soul tools can the Tang sect provide? Bei Bei thought for a moment before replying, if you're talking about fully equipping the soldiers, I think we're able to fully equip 200 soul engineers right now, which is our current limit. This includes self-driving forts and human-shaped soul tools, as well as some accessory stuff, surveillance soul tools, etc. We can form a small legion. If we maximize our production and training, I believe we can equip 500 people within 3 months. Elder Song furrowed her brow and commented, only 500 people. That seems too little. Why did I have the impression that the Tang sect's self-driving forts could already arm hundreds of people? It's already been so long, but only so few people can be armed. Bei Bei said, Elder Song, arming the soldiers now is different from before. We need to fully equip them. Teacher Xian will be the one customizing the class of soul tools that our soldiers will be equipped with, and it's definitely not inferior to the standard of the Sun Moon Empire's soul engineer legions. Given Shrek City's financial strength and the support of the other 3 empires, this is the speed that we can proceed with. If we go any faster, we can't ensure the quality of the soul tools produced. In addition, we must try our best to tap into the advantages of this legion we're arming. I believe that we should equip the strongest soul masters, and not soul engineers. Through countless experiments, we've discovered that what Yuhao said was right. Asking soul masters to use soul tools is in fact better than asking pure soul engineers to use soul tools. After all, they just need to learn how to use soul tools to complement their martial souls. In many instances, this can bring about unexpected results. For example, Yuhao is able to use his spirit eyes to aim, which allows him to be more adept at using long-range soul tools. Positioning and firing are his strengths. That's why we can't just teach this batch of soul masters how to use soul tools as we nurture them. At the same time, we must equip them with soul tools that are most suitable for them. This will require more time. As for self-driving forts, they don't suit this legion we're trying to form. They are more useful for city defense, as well as group attacks and defense. We'll continue to produce them, but we won't equip this legion with self-driving forts. After hearing Bei Bei's explanation, Xian Linus' eyes brightened. Does this mean that you have a brand new concept for this legion? How about counting me in? Bei Bei laughed bitterly. We'd also like someone as strong as you to join. However, the problem is that we can only equip soul emperors, given the quantity of soul tools that we're trying to produce. If we let more advanced soul masters use our soul tools, I'm afraid the soul tools will not be strong enough. However, Teacher Xian has also started producing Class 9 soul tools. After receiving the full support of the Academy, his cultivation is getting closer and closer to a titled Doluo. The Sun Moon Empire had medicine that could increase one's soul power. How could Shrek Academy not possess such stuff, too? In terms of martial soul research, Shrek Academy had thousands of years of experience and accumulation. Many sects, academies and empires couldn't compare to Shrek Academy in this area. It was just that Shrek Academy didn't encourage using medicine to increase one's soul power. Using medicine restricted the future development of a soul master. He wouldn't be able to become a transcendent Doluo in the future. However, it was already almost impossible for Xian Ziwen to become a transcendent Doluo, anyway. Part of his cultivation was achieved through medicinal help when he was still in the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy, so it didn't matter to him anymore. Through the medicine that Shrek Academy had specially customized and concocted for him, his soul power had achieved an increase, and he was now at rank 89. Given his importance, Qian Duo and Xian Lina would often accompany him during his research, and learned a lot from him. They were partly there to protect him, and also taught him about the principles of cultivation that some soul masters in Shrek Academy had adopted. If Xian Ziwen could become a titled Doluo, it would be very significant to Shrek Academy. Xian Ziwen's foundation already gave him the potential to be a Class 9 soul engineer. If his cultivation continued to increase, his class as a soul engineer would also rise. When that happened, there would finally be a Class 9 soul engineer that belonged to the Doluo continent. This was extremely important to the future development of Shrek Academy's soul tools. Xian Ziwen was definitely the busiest man in Shrek Academy and the Tang sect. Not only did he have to create his own soul tools, but he also had to come up with a syllabus to teach the students. At the same time, he controlled the entire soul tool hall. He was extremely busy, but he enjoyed this feeling. He was already a workaholic. Here, he was the core of all resources. Whatever he wanted, the academy would do their best to satisfy. It was much better compared to when he was in the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy, where he was supervised all the time. Xian Lina laughed. After hearing you, I'm becoming more and more curious. This Soul Engineer Legion should have a name, right? Elder Xian, why don't you give it a name? Elder Xian laughed slightly and replied, let's call it the Tang Sect Soul Engineer Legion. We'll name it after the Tang Sect. Bei Bei and Huo Yuhao were both stunned. Bei Bei hurriedly said, Elder Xian, how can you do this? Our Soul Engineer Legion completely relies on the support and resources of the Academy. The name of the Soul Engineer Legion should be related to the Academy. How can we use the Tang sect to name it? Elder Xian smiled as he shook his head and replied, a name is just a designation. As long as you can give this Soul Engineer Legion extremely great fighting strength, it doesn't matter what it's called. Furthermore, the Tang sect has also poured in a lot of effort to build this Soul Engineer Legion. Although we provided the resources, you are the ones doing all the work, especially Teacher Xian. His influence on this Soul Engineer Legion is something we can't replicate. Don't be too bothered about this. Let's just call it the Tang Sect Soul Engineer Legion. It's a simple name, but let's hope it'll exist forever. In the future, we'll depend on all of you to turn the tide. Bei Bei and Huo Yuhao looked at each other, and neither of them continued to say anything. However, both of them subconsciously clenched their fists. The Tang sect had only managed to progress so quickly with the support of the Academy. When Shrek City was fully constructed, and the Tang sect Soul Engineer Legion was fully established, the Tang sect would finally be able to compare to some of the bigger sects. There was a deep significance behind Elder Xian's decision to name this Soul Engineer Legion after the Tang sect. This meant that he was passing the authority over this Soul Engineer Legion to the Tang sect. His trust in them was invaluable. Elder Xian looked at Xian Lina and Xian Duo before saying, I think we can pass the ultimate soldier plan to them too, and they'll be in charge of nurturing these soul masters in all aspects. Since the soul tools produced by the Tang sect can equip soul emperors, we should start picking soul emperors out. I don't think we'll really need 500 people. Quality trumps quantity. Let's use all the soul emperors we've got, and start from the inner courtyard. After that, we'll start choosing from the army. This is the Academy's decision. Whoever is unwilling to listen to orders will be punished according to the Academy's rules. If soul masters from the other 3 empires are willing to join, they must first sign a pact with the Academy, and they'll need to undergo a series of tests first. Lina, Duo, the 2 of you will be in charge of this matter. Xiaozhe, coordinate with them, too. Send some teachers to the Tang sect to help them train this Soul Engineer Legion. If I remember correctly, the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineer Legions seem to only consist of Soul Kings. They aren't even real Soul Masters. Since we're going all out, we must nurture a Soul Engineer Legion that surpasses theirs. This video will end here.